learners. Today we will be discussing about cognitive attribute, the evolving concept of intelligence. First of all, I would like to throw some light on cognitive attribute. Attributes are traits that characterize the mental and behavioral life of an organism. We can say that attributes are the characteristics of an individual. Cognitive attributes deal with the mental processes, including how people think, perceive, remember, and learn. As part of the larger field of cognitive science, this branch of psychology is related to other disciplines, including neuroscience, philosophy, and linguistics. When we come to intelligence, usually people take intelligence as in a broader concept, a way the person's IQ is. If the IQ is higher, then they say that the person is intelligent, and if the IQ is lower, then they say that the person is not intelligent. So, if we talk about intelligence and about the myths of intelligence, it is a way of acting. It is a general capacity of an individual consciously to adjust his thinking to new environments and his requirements too. It is the general mental adaptability to new problems and conditions of life. Intelligence as an ability is an ability to learn, an ability to think abstractly, an ability to solve problems, to profit by experience, to perceive relationships, and to adjust to one's environment. When we talk of the theories of intelligence and how the concept evolved with the passage of time, so we can divide the concept into different models. The theories of intelligence have been given under different models. Very first is the psychometric models, the computational model, biological model, and system models. To start with the psychometric models, the initial theory of intelligence was given by Charles Spearman, and he gave a two-factor theory. He gave two factors, G and S, where G denote the general factor and S denote the specific factor. So the general factor basically deals with the general intelligence of an individual, while the specific factor is a collection of specific cognitive intellectual skills. So in the very beginning, intelligence was considered as a two-factor theory. It was described on the basis of two factors, the general factor in which the individual behave and the way he used to do different things in his day-to-day life, to deal with the problems of life and to do his mundane work. Specific factor is actually, it deals with the specific traits or characteristics of an individual or a specific skill of an individual which enables the person to work in a specific field or to work extraordinarily. Next theory was given by Thurston, and he described intelligence in the form of 7 primary mental abilities. So the primary mental abilities, first one which he gave was memory, the ability to memorize quickly. How quick can you recognize and memorize things, and how long can you keep them with you memorized? Second ability was numerical ability, the ability to do numerical calculations rapidly and accurately too. Third primary mental ability was perceptual speed. It was the ability to perceive objects accurately. How quickly and accurately you perceive objects and you draw any conclusion about them, or you observe them and how well you absorb them in your mental status. Next is reasoning, the ability to think in a logical and sensible way. Spatial ability, which is the ability to manipulate an object imaginatively in a space, just to think about anything related to space and to imagine a figure or an image out of it. Verbal meaning is the ability to comprehend verbal relations, words and ideas related to language, related to literature, word meanings and the vocabulary of words. Word fluency, the ability to think of isolated words at a rapid rate. So there are words which are quite usual and common to us and we use them quite rapidly. But there are some words which we do not use quite often and they are isolated. So to use such words is an ability, and this ability is one of the primary mental abilities given by Thurston. Further, with the passage of time, the theory of intelligence took a turn and we came to Cattell's theory. Again, Cattell gave a two-factor theory, but this time the factors were different. He gave two factors as fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. So the fluid intelligence consists of reasoning, memory and speed of information processing. How quickly you process information. Once you get to know about something, how quickly you can process it, how quickly you can analyze it and how quickly you can absorb it. It involves such skills as those requiring spatial and visual imagery and is generally believed to be much less affected by experience and education than is crystallized intelligence. Crystallized intelligence concerns the application of knowledge to problem solving. It includes abilities such as reasoning and verbal and numerical skills and is generally believed to be affected by experience and formal education, like certain principles. So, when we go through the science subjects or math subjects, we learn about certain principles and fundamentals or basics of particular problems. And when we apply those principles in solving the problem, that is our crystallized intelligence. Then we come to the Vernon's hierarchical model. Vernon suggested that intelligence consists of factors and skills arranged hierarchically. The cognitive factor at the top is composed of two skills, verbal or academic, and second is the practical or mechanical. Each of the two skills are further subdivided into various branches. Triarchic theory was given by Sternberg and he was concerned with how intelligence is being used. So particularly in problem solving as well as the abilities it includes. The theory deals with the componential, experiential and contextual intelligence. Componential intelligence includes components essential to acquisition of knowledge, use of problem solving strategies and techniques, and use of metacognitive components for selecting a strategy and monitoring progress towards success. Basically, we deal with the different components of a particular situation or a problem in this kind of intelligence. Experiential intelligence, as the name suggests, it's reflected both in creatively dealing with new situations and then combining different experiences in insightful ways to solve novel or new problems. So, with our experiences, we learn new things and we can implement our experiences in further solving our problems. Contextual intelligence, reflected in the management of day-to-day life or day-to-day affairs. So it is related to the context. For example, while your way to college or while your way to school, you came across with a situation in which someone met with an accident. So what you are supposed to do? That is your contextual intelligence. According to the context, according to the situation, how will you react? Will you call the ambulance? Will you call the police? Or how will you react to the situation? When we come to the structure of intellect by J.P. Guilford, it's a very important theory of intelligence given by Guilford, which is very commonly known as the three-dimensional model, where he has presented a cube-like structure which denotes the different components of intelligence and the different traits or characteristics or the different things which denote an individual's intelligence. So he has broadly divided them into three parts: operations, contents, and products of thinking. Operations deal with the act of thinking. Contents deal with the terms used in thinking, and products of thinking deals with the ideas. Now we'll just go through the figure given by Guilford, where content includes visual, auditory, symbolic, semantic, and behavioral aspects of an individual. Product includes units, classes, relations, systems, transformation, and implications. And the last, operations, it includes evaluation, convergent production, divergent production, memory, and cognition. So in this way, all the aspects of an individual's personality, they are covered in this concept of intelligence. When we talk of the systems models, so the theory of multiple intelligences, which is the latest in the row, was given by Howard Gardner. And this is the latest theory which is being implemented in schools and in colleges to know the type of intelligence a person or a student possess. So according to Gardner, what he thought was that intelligence can't be assessed by the score of IQ of one person. Person has a high IQ score, he is considered to be intelligent. And if he has a low IQ score, he is considered to be not intelligent or less intelligent than the other person. So he completely denied to this concept of intelligence, and he proposed a new theory of intelligence, which is the multiple intelligences theory. And according to this theory, he says each and every person is intelligent, and the theory of multiple intelligences propose that people are not born with all of the intelligence they will ever have. It's not important or it's not necessary that when you are born, your IQ or your intelligence is decided at that time only. It says that intelligence can be learned throughout life. So, as learning is a continuous process, and throughout life you keep on learning things. So intelligence can also be learned throughout life. Also, it claims that everyone is intelligent in at least 9 different ways and can develop each aspect of intelligence to an average level of competency. So initially, Gardner gave 7 ways of being intelligent, 7 different areas of intelligence, which he gradually increased to 9. And now there are 9 areas in which a person can be intelligent. Intelligence, as given by Gardner, is the ability to solve problems or fashion products that are valuable in one or more cultural settings. The different areas given by Gardner, the very first area is verbal or linguistic intelligence. It is the capacity to use your language, your native language, and perhaps other languages to express what's on your mind and to understand other people. And people with this kind of intelligence, or people intelligent in this particular area, they usually are authors and script writers, orators. When we come to the visual or spatial area of intelligence, it is the brain's ability to perceive and interpret visual stimuli. Whatever you see, whatever is there in front of your eyes, how well you observe it, how well you perceive it, and how well you react to it. In other words, it's how our minds process what we see. One single object can be given to 10 different people, and the interpretation would be different of each one of them. Each person thinks about a particular thing, object, or person in a different manner. That is perception. Although not very recognized, spatial intelligence is very important in the arts and in everyday life. Next area is interpersonal or people smart. It's an ability we all need, but is at a premium if you are a teacher, clinician, salesperson, or a politician. Because all these professions, you need to act really smart with people. You need to really act smart and deal with them effectively. Next is the musical or rhythmic area of intelligence. It is the ability to distinguish the sounds around you and ability to make your own melodies. Even if you are able to recognize different kinds of ragas and different kind of sur and tal, and you are able to know where the song is starting and where it is ending, and you are enjoying it, then also you will be considered musically and rhythmically intelligent. Next area is logical or mathematical. It's the capacity to use numbers effectively and reason well. Someone who has this kind of intelligence is able to see cause and effect really well. Also, they are able to identify a problem and solve it right there on the spot. Intrapersonal area is the knowledge of self and the ability to act adaptively on the basis of that knowledge. To know about self is very, very important. And in today's world, in today's time, when you do not have time and you are running and running for materialistic things, knowledge of self is very, very imperative. It's very important to know about self, to know what are you, what are your qualities, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. Then only you will be able to work up on it. This intelligence includes having an accurate picture of oneself, one's strengths and weaknesses, awareness of inner moods, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, your intentions, your motivations, your temperaments, and your desires, and the capacity for self-discipline, self-understanding, and self-esteem. Essentially, it's how well you know yourself. Next area is the bodily or kinesthetic area. It is the ability to use one's hands to produce or transform things. It is expertise in using one's whole body to express ideas and feelings. So, dancers, they are very, very high in this type of intelligence. And maybe the pottery guy, one who do clay modeling and one who do pottery, he is also considered to be high in this area. Naturalistic. This area has to do with nurturing and relating information to one's natural surroundings, like classifying natural forms such as animal and plant species and rocks and mountain types. So it's related to nature, and we all should be well aware of our surroundings and the nature surrounding us, because slowly and gradually we are depleting our natural resources and surroundings and our environment. So it becomes really, really important for us to be aware about our nature. And for that, what we can do is we can inculcate this type of intelligence, which is in need these days, in the students in schools and colleges, by making them aware of different plant species and the animal species, the animals who are now distinct and the other animals who are now they have a need to get to be preserved. So that becomes a need of the day and a need of the hour. Last area of intelligence is existential. So we all are trying to exist in this world, and some proponents of multiple intelligence theory proposed spiritual or religious intelligence as a possible additional type. But then Gardner did not want to commit to a spiritual intelligence, but he suggested that an existential intelligence may be a useful construct. And to exist, we need to work on ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. In the increasing days of crime, these days we have seen people, they are committing more and more crimes because they are mentally imbalanced. They are not able to understand what they want. They do not realize what their desires are, what they are required to do. And for their existence, they go after the materialistic things in life. And that is why they end up with committing different types of crimes. So to avoid this, to make society a better place to live in, we need to inculcate or we need to enhance this type of intelligence or this area of intelligence in all the individuals around. And teacher is the best source who can do this by teaching all the students and by training all the pupil teachers or would-be teachers, by making them aware of how to show your existence and how to confirm your existence on this beautiful place called Earth, beautiful planet called Earth, and how to preserve it. So by studying about ourselves, by studying about self, and by working on self, by managing ourselves, we can very aptly exist in this world. So the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, it's imagination. It is said by Albert Einstein. So imagination is everything. We should not make our students, we should not make the young generation just a symbol of knowledge by making them cram all the things and getting them higher and higher marks. We should try to make them realize what is imagination. We should give them time, enough and ample time to imagine about a new world, to work for it, to go for their real strengths, to help them know about their strengths and how to work about it. We should help them find out their own weaknesses, their weak points, and how they should enhance them or how they should uplift themselves, on those particular areas. So we should let the children grow on themselves just by guiding them and just by giving them the better or best counseling of how to go about life, how to make decisions on their own. They should not be imposed by other people, and they should think what is good and what is bad about them. So we'll just conclude our lecture today, and I will just leave on to you to think about intelligence and the true meaning of intelligence. Thank you.